5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, hello everybody, this is Alex Bennett and this is the Ramble. We go from now until, let's see here, midnight Eastern Daylight Time, and we got a friend with us today, so let's check in. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown is a comedian. A very funny comedian. If you've never seen him and you hear that he's playing anywhere where he's nearby you, go see him. Although he sticks pretty close to San Francisco. Right, Larry?
Yes, although I did, last week I had occasionally get a really good gig. I did the Microsoft Theater, which is where they hold the Emmys, and that was 7,000 people. That was kind of fun.
Really? Who were you there with? Obviously, you weren't a headliner, otherwise there wouldn't have been 7,000 people there. What?
I was opening for Felipe Esparza, who's on the move and coming up. And
oh, right. He's very big, right? Now, that audience must have been Latino, right?
Yes.
How did they take to Larry Bubbles Brown?
I came out and said, "Build the wall." No, which would have been great. No, they liked me a lot, so it was fun, and I was thinking 7,000 was the biggest crowd I'd had since I did your show at the Frost Amphitheater at Stanford in '87.
Wow, yeah,
which you well remember.
Yeah. And did they like you? Did they laugh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's 7,000. People said, "Oh, you must have killed." And I said, well, if you can't kill in front of 7,000 people, it's probably time to quit. But, yeah, they were great.
Is it easier to kill in front of 7,000 people?
I think so, because if you get 10% of the crowd laughing, you should kill, right? So.
Right. What was that I found? People always said to me, like, we did the thing at the Frost Amphitheater, and that was 9,000 people. Okay, so I got your Microsoft beat by about 2,000 people.
Okay.
And everybody said to me, how do you feel about doing going out in front of 9,000 people? And I said, when you got that many people out there, it's not people, it's just this massive thing. I said it would be harder for me to do a set or get up on stage at the Holy City Zoo where there are just 10 people in the room and they're all in the front row looking at you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and that is scarier than getting on a stage where there are 9,000 people out there. Because it's just this massive humanity. And so you really don't get scared by it, you know. There are too many of them to rush the stage or something like that. I don't know, but I always I bet you always have found it easier to play in front of 7,000 people than it was to play to just a handful of people at the Holy City Zoo.
Yeah. The only thing, when a big crowd like that, you do kind of have to, you do your joke and you actually wait a couple of beats because the laughs take a little longer to get there. But
yeah. So does that throw your timing off? People don't understand timing. To a comic, timing is everything. You know. We just lost him. What do you know? Don't you just love when Skype does that to us? Well, we'll call him back. Larry is unavailable. What does that mean? Let me see here. Let me try him again. There we go. I don't know what.
Something happened to our timing.
Something happened to our timing. I just left that all in there so everybody could hear me try to get back to you. I don't know. All of a sudden, Skype just went, you know. Because I use Skype to call you, right? So anyway,
you could get a landline.
Yeah. So we were talking about the ability of playing in front of a large audience as opposed to a small audience. And the small audience is scary. The large audience isn't.
Yeah, and I'd read that in one of Steve Martin's book when he was that year when he became huge. That he played some big place. I think it was in Vegas, and he wasn't used to that big a room, and he. And so he thought he wasn't getting the laughs because he wasn't waiting. So he did what comics tend to do when they're not doing well. They tend to speed up. So
yeah,
he just raced through his entire act, and he was obligated to do 30 minutes. And he said he barely was able to do half an hour because he was going so quickly.
Wow. And he did that because the large crowd, made him just ramble through his material faster. I would think it would slow you down.
Well, the laughs weren't coming as quickly. He wasn't taking that extra beat to wait for the laugh, so he just stepped on the laugh and kept zooming through it.
Yeah. Because you pretty well know in your act now where the laughs are, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of laugh it's going to be from the audience.
Right.
Now, what happens when you go somewhere and you expect that there's going to be a certain response to a certain joke, and then you don't get that response?
Well, then you realize you're probably going to suck. I mean, it's hard. Sometimes you got a couple of really strong jokes up front, and if they don't get much, you just think, oh, this is going to be a tractor pull. So you're not going to have any fun.
Are there jokes put in there up front to feel the audience out?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you ever, in your act, once you find out where the audience is because of that initial material, change what material you're choosing as you go along and do your act?
Yeah, although I've never been very good at editing in my head, like a good comic would do that. Sometimes I'll just plot ahead and do what I've got, and it'll just dig a deeper hole, which is another reason no one's ever heard of me.
Maybe you're better off, I mean, would you rather be a Dane Cook or a Larry Bubbles Brown? Dane Cook had a career for about a minute and a half, right?
He made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money, but is that the object necessarily? Would you rather make the money and then, because your flame burned out so fast, not work anymore? Or would you prefer to keep plying your craft like you have been all your life?
I would just like to I think I was fairly mediocre. I would just like to have gotten good at it.
Well, Bubbles, I'm here to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you this as someone who loves you dearly. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You're not mediocre.
Brutally honest.
No. You're one of the funniest comics I know. And it is.
I know. I just feel I never put it all together. I think I was good like in short sets. I don't think I think because my low energy, I don't think people like to watch me for 40 minutes.
Well, I don't know that you're a 40-minute act. You're more a 20-minute act. And the reason I say that is not a bad thing,
short
folks.
sets.
I'm saying that the kind of comedy he does is the kind of comedy that works better as a short set than it would as a long set. If somebody told you, well, you're a big star, Larry Bubbles Brown, go do an hour. Could you do an hour?
Not anymore. I did it a couple times back in the 80s, but I couldn't do one now.
Yeah, and it's not because of strength or whatever. It's just that you think of yourself as a shorter act.
Yeah.
Now you.
So I feel like I feel like a failure actually. So.
Oh, you feel like a failure. Okay. Well, The only reason you're a failure is not because you're not funny, but because you're not aggressive in getting the work. You've never had.
I never had the aggression.
You never had the
laid back.
Yeah, you've never had the aggression in your handling of yourself because part of you is talent and ability at being a comedian, and the other part of it is aggressiveness, getting out there, getting the jobs. We always talk about Will Durst, too. I talked to Will, And if there's a blank spot on his calendar, he goes crazy.
Yeah,
So then,
absolutely.
So what does he do about that? He gets on the phone and starts calling people. Mm-hmm. And that's why he works a lot, is because of that.
Whereas I hope the phone will ring.
You hope the phone will ring. Exactly.
I hope my landline will light up.
Yeah. Yep. And so, it's I don't know. It's kind of
well, there's all types of comics, but I think, like, I would say most of the very successful ones are very driven, very aggressive, and very high energy.
Yeah.
Of course, there are exceptions, Stephen Wright and people like that, but
right. So I mean, but what I'm saying is, there's part of it that I'm talking about is the aggression in getting the work, and pushing yourself and getting yourself known. Today people, like somebody like Dane Cook. You know how he became popular?
He used MySpace.
Yeah, he used the internet. He was one of the first people.
He was the first one to get. He had 1 million followers. This was in 2005.
Yeah, and that gave him enough push that people would hire him, and the movie companies asked him to make movies, and so on. They all found out he didn't have the lasting ability, but nevertheless, he did it using the internet. Now, that's something you don't know how to use.
I don't know how to use it, and I know most of the comics, especially the younger ones, they are on that 24/7, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and
right,
just pushing themselves like crazy.
I don't know how to do it, okay, and I'm your technical guy, okay. It completely mystifies me how you get a following on Facebook or how you get a following on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's apparently even the TV shows, they have to put their clips and push them on the internet to stay alive now.
Right. I mean, at one point, the only way I got Twitter followers was I bought them. You can actually no. There are these places you can go, and for say $50, they'll give you 10,000 Twitter followers.
10,000?
Yeah, and I went and did it. So I built it up so I had 25,000 Twitter followers, and I did that. So in case anybody said, "How popular are you?" I'd say, "Well, go look how many Twitter followers I have." And then one day, Twitter decided they were going to weed out all those phony accounts, and so I went from 25,000 down to 9,000. Apparently, they didn't catch 5,000 of them. So it was that. But the fact is that these people know how to use the internet to make themselves popular, and you don't know how to, and you probably don't want to.
No, I don't, and I know there are people that'll put something up on YouTube that gets a zillion hits, and a big comedy club will book them for a weekend, and they've got a 5-minute bit. So
right,
but they'll fill the place. Right.
So I mean, and what will happen is if you call somebody and say, I want to do your club, they'll probably go on Twitter to see how many followers you've got.
Right, and I've heard casting agents or casting people in movies will actually. That's becoming a part of the process now. How many followers does this guy have?
Well, they're giving people national TV shows based on their Twitter following or on their Facebook following. There's some woman who's took over the late night show at NBC. The one that nobody watches, except for maybe drug addicts. And it was on at 2:00 in the morning. It goes on at 1:30. Okay, I never heard of her before. And it turns out she was a YouTube sensation. And she's not bad, but they hired her on the strength
just on that
of the fact that she had all these YouTube followers. Based on the amount of YouTube followers that I have, probably I could get hired by, I could be maybe a janitor for somebody. I don't know. Yeah. But, I
like the old days better when we had gatekeepers.
Well, but you're not,
network.
You are not mediocre. I mean, that's the one notion you should never have. I mean, I'm telling you, you had 2 great sets on Letterman. And based on
those are short sets, That's what I like to do.
No, but more than that, I noticed something about you that was, I think, the most important factor. You work well on television. And the reason you work well on television is they do a close-up of you. And all your facial expressions, which are many, which would get lost on the stage at the Microsoft Theater to 7,000 people.
Yeah, they...
suddenly makes you funnier.
Well, that's a good point, because I always did try to make facial expressions, but it never shows up in a club. So.
You could sit there with a blank stare on your face, and in the back of the room, they think they don't know what you're doing, So, but you on television, I watched you do those sets, and I just, as it was going on, I went, God, he's coming across great, because you had those facial expressions. The close-up of the camera made you really come alive. If there's any such thing as making Larry Bubbles Brown come alive.
That's the closest I came to being alive.
Yeah. And I said, you should really do more TV, because that's where you could make your mark, And they wanted you back. It took you 20 years to go back.
Literally 20,
In fact, didn't you originally do your first set at NBC and wound up doing your second set at CBS?
Yeah,
Yeah. And when you finally came back, they were happy to have you back,
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you left, they said, get some more material and come back and give us a call, right?
Right.
And you never called.
No, I did have a chance to do it one more time, and I just thought, screw it.
Yeah, and you just said, oh, screw it so much and so long that he finally quit the business, And if you think you're ever getting on Fallon, you're ever getting on Fallon, you're out of your fucking mind,
He got tired of waiting for me.
Well, there is no place in late night to do that anymore. I don't know that any comics get discovered on, comics got discovered all the time on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Okay?
The Tonight Show was huge, yeah. Not so much Letterman, but The Tonight Show was big.
Well, but Letterman put the comedian on at the end. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Carson would dump them somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah. Letterman, you went on, and literally it would be 1:25 in the morning.
Yeah. So Letterman was not as good a place, but Carson I think he put the comedians on in the middle. He would have his big
right
name,
in the middle, yeah,
and then he would have the new comic, and then he would maybe bring out somebody with snakes or koala bears. So I mean,
and that launched people like Stephen Wright and Roseanne Barr and Drew Carey.
One shot on there propelled their career. Roseanne went on, did one shot. Next thing you know, ABC's signing her up to do a sitcom.
Right.
The same thing is true with George Lopez and a whole bunch of people like that. Jerry Seinfeld did his first shot on
Gary Shandling.
Gary Shandling.
I think Letterman actually got started pretty well with his first shot on Carson.
That's correct. So that was a great place for comics. But that doesn't exist anymore. So what does exist? Well, I guess we put Larry Bubbles Brown on YouTube. If I were in California right now, I would YouTube you. I would have you come to my place, and we would sit there, and you would do a podcast. You know?
Somebody wants me to do that, so maybe I should follow up on that.
Yeah, because that would get you, some kind of an audience, and it would give you a presence.
That would give me at least 300 followers.
But then again, you're too old for anybody to want to hire you. Okay, that's the bad news.
That's also true.
That's the bad news. The good news is you're not mediocre. I know
that's
that
going to be my new mantra. I'm not mediocre.
I know that if nobody's hiring you, that doesn't have anything to do with if they're not hiring you in great numbers, that has nothing to do with whether you're mediocre or not. It has to do with the way you're pushing yourself. Okay? And I hate to say this, your age.
Yeah.
Because I find that nobody takes old people seriously.
No, it's the one prejudice that you can freely have and discuss.
I've given up trying to get back into radio again. Because I know that if I went somewhere, they would look at me, they'd see that I'm, hitting 80, and they would just dismiss me. What a pro! Wow, remember him?
What a pro!
Yeah,
we'll keep you on file. What a pro!
Well, I still have it. Well, call us back when you want to have it again. I don't know. It's disgusting. But that's that's the best you can do. So you have to understand that your age holds you back. Like if you're a comedy writer, you can't write in Hollywood after 45? Maybe not even that.
I heard in the 80s they didn't really want people over 35.
In the 80s, you heard that?
Yeah, and they said people that had written for MASH and shows like that would actually take that off their resume because that aged them. Oh, they've been around a while,
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, I've said this before. I will say it again. When it comes to age, funny's funny, And you say, well, there are exceptions. There's Louis Black. When's the last time you saw Louis Black on television?
Yeah, you brought that up a while back, and I just started thinking, I haven't seen him in years.
And it's not that he's not well. I'm sure he's just fine. I'm sure that his age finally caught up with him. I talked to Bobby Slayton, who says he has trouble getting booked in clubs because of his age. So I mean, and to me, funny is funny. You can write comedy if you're 80, for crying out loud.
You would think. I heard there was a big convention a while back of comedy club owners, and they had all these consultants come in. And the consultants said the average age of a comedy club goer is about 25. And they said if they walk in and see somebody on stage that's 50, they feel like they've made a mistake.
Really?
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that person's actually going to make them laugh.
Yeah, forget about that. It's just, he looks older than me.
And you know something? You can't turn around and put that on the what's the word I'm looking for? You can't put that on the doorstep of reality, because funny is funny. And I really think that even young people would love to laugh at somebody who's older and say, wow, he's still got it. All I know is you're still as funny as you've ever been. And I'm a big fan of yours. So.
Well, you give me the will to live one more day.
Well, that's not much. And at the rate my friends are going, you may only have one day left. So I mean, if I live long enough, I'm going to see everybody go. And so I live with two fears in my life: that I'm getting to that age where I could die, and that's one of my biggest fears. And you have the same fear, right?
Oh yeah.
I have a morbid fear of death, and My other fear is I'm going to live so long that I'm not going to have anybody. That I'm not going to know anybody. I don't get to know that many people anyway, but I'm not going to get to know anybody any longer. And that makes me feel bad. So, there's a problem with getting to be my age. Hey, listen, we ran out of time. We've depressed everybody. I think Bubbles and
but we
I
did it in an entertaining way.
Well, we have managed to do our job by depressing the entire audience.
Because we're old pros.
And you wonder why you haven't made it. Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bubbles Brown. See you next week, Larry.
See you, Alex.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is Alex Bennett, and I'm here. Let me turn up my microphone a little bit here and get everything all ready to go. I have to, see, we have the on-the-air light on over back here. There we go. So you know that it's got to be. We got to be on the air for sure because, after all, our light is lit up. Okay, now let me get our Skype going. I can never do the Skype. I've told you this before. I can't get the Skype going early because I've had people actually try and call the show, and then when that's open, it causes all kinds of little problems. So anyway. Let me see here. That's where that would come in, and that's where that would come in, and we're cool. And now we open up. I noticed that I think Josh Wheeler tried to sign in earlier or something. But anyway, we're ready to go. If any of you want to call this damn program, which is known as this damn program. Okay, fine. Anyway, where are we? If you want to know how to call us, just go over to gabnet.net. On the right-hand side of the page, there's a whole tutorial on how to do it and how you can do it through Skype, how you can get Skype, how you can call Skype. There's like a one push button to make you call Skype. And here comes Josh Wheeler, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see here. If we get first, we got to get Josh's picture. And here comes Kathleen. Let's see here. She was in here last night, so hers should pop right up. Let me see here. Josh, turn the camera on. There we go. Let me see here. So I got to go into the number 2 spot and bring in, let's see here, a live job of kazoo. Wow. I have to always figure out, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want at all. I want oh, damn it, I hate this. Let me see here. I need to get Josh Wheeler. Josh Wheeler. There is Josh 42. Okay, there we go. There's Josh. Okay, and let me just do that so that you can see the people we've got so far here. No Phil tonight. This is a Phil-free night.
Really?
Yeah, I know a lot of people find that really okay by them. So anyway, hi Kathleen. Hi Josh. Josh, have you've met Kathleen before, haven't you?
Yeah, she's been on. Yes. In the past, multiple times.
Yeah. So
at the same time, I don't think she calls you every night, but yeah.
Right. So anyway, what's new? Anything new with either of you?
I don't think anything's new.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
Been catching your shows, just waiting for an opportunity to call in.
Well, it's nice that you have it. Now we're waiting for other people to call too. So the rest of you can call in now. The coast is clear. Phil isn't going to be here tonight. Okay. That means
Friday night?
That means that Scott can call and Tom Yamaguchi can call without fear of Phil. They have a big fear, Phil. Phil, forget it.
Why do arguments ensue?
Oh, no. You know what it is? Scott really gets upset by, no, really. And he gets very upset by Phil. And so he'd just rather not have to deal with him. And and Tom Yamaguchi, I think, feels the same way. So on nights where we have fill-free nights, it's simple for them to call. By the way, just in case,
is it the whole Trump thing?
It is a Trump thing. Yeah.
Wow.
He's too Trumpy. There's Darth Pat. Here we go. Add Darth Pat. That would be Patrick. He'll go right down there. See him down there? There we go. Mm-hmm. And Ray Renati is calling, so I have to go over and get the other template up here and bring Ray in. And let's see here. Ray is at the gym, but we got to bring him into our, let's see, what are you? You're Goomba, aren't you? Yeah, you're Goomba. 61, so we go here. Jeff's having, there's Jeff. Okay, there we go. Jeff was having some trouble getting on. Let me see here. Jeff, go to put him in the 6th spot. Wow, we got him. We got 6 spots already filled up here with we got a real good citizen panel going here. And there's wait a minute. I put a Jeff in 2 spots. I don't want Jeff in 2 spots. Let me get rid of him in 1 spot here. There we go. There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. How are you this evening?
Good.
Yeah. There's
perfect.
There's Jeff. Jeff, did you have your friend dinner with your friend last night with the prostate problem?
It was the other night. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
And it was great to see him.
Did you ask him about how he handled his prostate cancer?
He's doing great.
Yeah.
The guy's 85.
Yeah.
And he looks in perfect shape.
He looks in perfect shape. Okay. Yeah. And what kind of medicine did they give him? Just some hormones?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And did he say they affected him at all, or he?
He was so happy that the results were great.
Good. Terrific. Well, good. Glad to hear that.
What kind of hormones do they give them?
Female hormones. Oh, well, actually, it's a hormone that does away with the testosterone. That robs you of testosterone because prostate cancer feeds off testosterone. So if you deprive it of testosterone, the cancer won't progress and it may even regress as a result. So, yeah, it loves to feed off our male testosterone, the stuff that makes us virile and all of that,
Such evil.
By the way, tonight we binge watched the entire 2nd season of the Kaminsky Method on Netflix. And have any of you seen the Kaminsky Method?
No.
This is with Alan Arkin and Michael Douglas. And it's done by Chuck Lorre, who did things like 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory and so on. It is terrific. But if you're older, it is especially terrific. Did you see it, Jeff?
No.
Oh, you got to watch this. I mean, it's all the shit about getting old.
Oh, boy.
But it's done as a comedy. It's an amazing show. It's just an amazing show. I sat there and I looked at girlfriend. I go, 8 episodes. We ate all of them in like less than 4 hours. Okay, and I said I could go for another 5 seasons of this shit. And I don't say that about very many shows because when they get into their 2nd or 3rd season. This is the 2nd season. It was better than the 1st. So if you have Netflix, Kaminsky Method. Yes, Ray.
I've been watching Fleabag.
Yeah.
And I've watched like 4 episodes. I'm not really liking it much.
Really? I loved it. Just
right
loved
from the
it.
beginning?
Yeah.
Does it get better?
It gets better and better, yes. But it's good. It's very good. And I'll
keep watching.
And it only has they're only 6 episodes a season?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
So you really don't have to chew off much. They're only a half hour each. Yeah. And when you get to that last episode, there's a reveal that just changes the whole nature of the thing.
Okay, that's what I need because something's not right. I guess I'm sensing that.
Yeah, but I think it's a terrific show. Terrific show. I felt the same way when I watched the first Fleabag. I didn't go back for any more, and then my friend Checky said, watch it, okay? So I forced myself to watch a second episode with girlfriend. No, not with girlfriend, without girlfriend. And then I watched a third and a fourth, and by the time I got to the sixth, I went, this is terrific, you know.
Yeah, the first episode, the pilot, was really bad, but yeah, it did get better after that.
Well, it wasn't bad. It just sets the whole thing up, and you don't know where it's going. To begin with, nobody on that show actually, except for one character, has a name.
You're a silly girl.
You know, and
that's right.
And she's her name is Fleabag in the script, and you know, then there's a guy with bad teeth, and just no names for the characters.
And she is a flea bag. Everyone's a flea bag. Everyone is so awful.
Well,
everyone's awful.
Yeah, well, it's a very good show. Watch the rest of it. I think you'll start to really appreciate it,
All right.
and you'll appreciate her as a talent. This is a very talented woman. I'm trying to remember her name now because.
Oh yeah, she is. She is.
But she did Fleabag, and then she went on to do Killing Eve, and producing that show. She isn't on it, but she produced it and wrote it, and the first season. And then she's now one of the writers of the new James Bond film. I mean, she's all over the place. She's doing very well. So, anyway, hello, Patrick. How you doing tonight?
Think about it.
Fabulous.
Fabulous?
Sure.
You're always fabulous. That's what I like about you. You know, if I had your, shall we say, health problems, I would be just an asshole. You know.
Well, I got good news. I went to the eye doctor, and I'm going to get my cataract out of my eye.
Oh, are you getting the cataract out of there? That's the simplest thing in the world.
Well, it's right.
Oh, shit.
It's ready to go, and I did good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And we have Kathleen over there playing with her pussy.
Every time I sit at my computer, my cat wants to sit on my lap.
Yeah.
But then she starts making biscuits.
Oh, you mean?
Ow.
Oh, yeah. I used to call it making bread. Yeah. But,
Same thing, yeah. Biscuits, bread.
Yeah.
You ever shave that creature?
Huh?
You ever shave that creature?
Shave that cat? How dare you? How dare you? You should be ashamed of yourself, Ray. I hope you get a cardiac pedaling away. How's that?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, he always calls us from working out, and then the people around him hate him doing it.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I get really bad
people.
I love it.
Yeah.
I had.
Huh? What?
I get the YMCA people coming over and telling me to shut up.
Boy, you know when you piss off the YMCA, you've really pissed off somebody.
I
You know. And of course, if you're wondering what Kathleen is doing, she's got her son off to the side who always refuses to come on the program. But he never is, he's always making remarks to her. Wait a minute, I'm going to turn the camera, try and catch him. Wait a minute. Well, you aimed it at the floor, you dumb blonde.
No, you know what? He hid.
Oh, was that it? Oh, I see. Oh, where is he hiding?
Under the comforter.
Under the comforter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cretin.
Wow.
Yeah, pretend you're asleep, you little bastard.
Yeah. Anyway. So, let me see here. Josh, anything in the news that you want to talk about?
Gee, there's nothing going on in the news, is there?
No.
Everything's swell.
Everything's terrific. What I'm wondering, is there anybody who's worked at the White House who doesn't want to rat on Donald Trump?
Probably not.
I mean, he must be...
Maybe Kellyanne Conway. She seems willing to suck his dick just about any time he wants it. So
yeah,
maybe not her.
She's a whore.
Well, no, she's been with him from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know. all these other people were hired on. But it just seems like everybody who works for him hates him.
Yeah, pretty much. He has his, what, 2, maybe 3 people. He's got her, and he's got that nut job, that Stephen Miller that works for him.
Yeah.
The immigration guy.
Yeah.
I think he's probably still got one other person that. I mean, he'll cast them aside eventually. I mean, it just hasn't been done yet. But when he's done with them and used them up, he'll throw them out just like he did everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Ray.
Don't forget his family works for him.
Yeah.
They
Well.
hate him.
Yeah.
We don't know that they don't hate him.
Oh, that's true. They never say anything hateful.
But the reason they don't hate him publicly is they're in the will. So
Right.
they have a loyalty that is, not.
I mean, at this point, anyone that goes to work for him and suffers that fate, it's like I laugh because the shame should be on them. Because if you haven't realized by now that if you go work for him, whether it's 3 months or 6 months or a year, he will
turn on you.
He'll destroy your career and tarnish your reputation for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
see.
I mean, that's why he's still got Mick Mulvaney as the acting chief of staff, because most people say they think that if Mulvaney wasn't there, they don't think that they could find anyone to take the job.
We just been joined by Kevin, by the way. Yeah, it's just that so many people are speaking out against him who work there that you just get the idea that they hate him that much. I mean, many times if somebody does something wrong but you like them and they've treated you right and they've treated you well, you don't rat on them, But man, they're lining up. There've been about 8 of them so far, 9 of them so far that have gone before the committee and just substantiated all the things about the call to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So
and I can't. For the life of me, I really cannot understand the number of people that work for him that have done things that I know has to have gone against the grain of, their conscience and their beliefs, and yet they've done it anyway. And I mean, apparently the only reason that I can think of is that they were that desperate to have a seat at the table or be in the room, I mean, they must really be that desperate to have one of those jobs that they could not wait to get it in another way. That Mike Pompeo, for example, just wanted to be the secretary, had just had this high-level big job so bad that he was willing to basically sell himself out, and things.
Well, how about
all these people are on record in the past.
How about what, Bill Barr?
Right.
That's Bill Barr is another example of that. I mean, in fact, I don't know why the Congress isn't working on impeaching him, because he's doing all the dirty work for Trump. He's using the Justice Department as Trump's lawyer. Yeah. And that's not what it's supposed to be, And
he's terrible. I mean, these people are they're an affront to everything, all traditional American values. And I mean, apparently I was naive enough of a person that I did not realize that some people are so desperate to hold power that, they basically could just wake up one morning and do the opposite of what they've always believed in just so they could be in the room. I mean, I just didn't think there would be that many people, but apparently there are. And they all end up quitting eventually, but they wait so long. I don't know. I just can't.
Is this a good job to have on your CV right now?
Right.
I mean.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not like any of them are going to get anything out of it in later administrations. Yeah. I mean, like, they're on the no-touch list after this, if you ask me. It's like, a lot of times we see people, Obama had a lot of people who worked for him, right, that worked for Bill Clinton. when they were younger, et cetera. But I don't think any of these people are going to end up working in more mainstream Republican administrations in the future. I just don't see it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to want them back.
Well, also,
it's like he's working. It's like he's running it like a corporation, and he's running it just like your typical corporate brown nosers. They all line up and say yes sir, yes sir.
Right.
And who knows what's going to happen after he's out of office? They'll probably all line up for back checks when they're done.
Look at how many people's reputations have been ruined by lining themselves up with Trump. For instance, Barr was considered he had a good reputation before this.
Because you're right. There's a lot of those guys, I look at them and go, you guys don't really believe this shit, do you?
Well, Pompeo had a good reputation. And in fact, Giuliani, at one time, he was America's mayor.
Right.
And by the way, what's happened to Giuliani? Have you heard from him in the last week? It's like
he was in the news a lot today because of this accidentally dialing his phone while he was having a private conversation with somebody, and he called one of the reporters that was on his call list, and it went to their voicemail, and they have a recording of him talking about certain things, and apparently he's done this before. I mean, I've said on the program before that they've talked on the morning show on MSNBC all the time about how for the last good number of years it's been the worst kept secret in Washington that, by the time 6 o'clock in the evening rolls around, he can barely function because he drinks so much.
I mean, yeah. Giuliani. What you're saying? Giuliani's a drunk.
Giuliani?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Joe Scarborough and what's her name there? They've talked about that on numerous occasions. I mean, I don't think they ever wanted to really say it, but he's gotten so bad, and they basically have just, with a wink and a nod said, this is why he acts crazy, because he's a little crazy and he has a problem.
Yeah. Ray?
Yeah, there's an interview, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, where he was so drunk that the interviewer had to say something.
Yeah.
And he was denying it, of course, but he was slurring all his words. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, when he goes to prison, I mean, they're going to have to dry him out. So those first couple days are going to be pretty rough. So,
wow. I didn't realize that about him, but I'll believe anything because his behavior has been very erratic.
Yeah, he does bizarre things that. I mean, if I don't know, I can't think of a worse person in the world to have as your defense attorney.
I'll show you my phone.
Right.
Wow, that whole phone.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the crazy shit that he does with his eyes, and he's just I don't know, man. He's fucking bizarre.
He's bizarre. Well, I mean this whole thing it's getting downright scary.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean
Emperor has
I don't know what the delay is really. The shit's got to speed up here pretty soon. I mean, they seem to be still doing a lot of interviewing and deposition taking and all that. I mean, I tend to agree with most analysts that say, really they could just stop right now and proceed. I mean, that they have enough to go with, but they keep gathering evidence. So
for a while, I didn't perceive that Trump was in trouble because Trump always weasels out of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I also don't say it much here when Phil's around because, quite frankly, it makes him talk more. But the fact of the matter is that in recent weeks, so much stuff has come forward, like these 8 or 9 people who testified before the committee who were on the Ukraine call or who were intimately involved with the Ukraine call, who all said, including, I think, our former ambassador there, or our current, was it a current ambassador or foreign ambassador? Former ambassador.
The current one.
The current one, who said it was a quid pro quo.
He was pretty alarmed.
And there's so much of this that it's almost undefensible on the part of Trump. I mean, there's just too many witnesses to the crime.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Patrick? Patrick always has a somewhat different take on all of this stuff.
I think I said this in recent weeks. I'm just sitting back and watching. I mean, I've got no skin in the game, to speak. I didn't vote for the guy. He, whatever. I mean, if anything, I think Josh said it a few weeks ago. I'm interested in seeing the proceedings just from a historical standpoint. It was just like with Clinton. I found it interesting seeing the proceeding going on, not necessarily, what he did or didn't do, but, I'm a student of history and I enjoy that sort of thing. So, I've been seeing the same thing you guys have with the exits and the people tattling or whatever you want to call it. But I'm not convinced anything's going to come of it. So that's my take. I mean, I think this might be retrograde ejaculation for the Democrats, and
that would be coming without coming, where it goes in rather than comes out.
Exactly. Where I mean, they're gonna get it built up, and they're hard and they're ready. And
well, I think Ray had his hand up. Ray,
I was just thinking. I think the Democrats are going on and on with this questioning because they know that if they don't have overwhelming evidence, the Senate is not going to vote to impeach. And so they just feel like they got to get as much as they possibly can because right now it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I think
the same thing happened with Nixon. I mean, the Senate said that they would not impeach, and until there was just absolutely overwhelming evidence, and then Nixon resigned.
Yeah. But I think that with Trump, no, I don't think he's going to get convicted by the Senate. I think that these senators are.
That's what I meant.
These are just really staunch Republicans are acting in a very stupid fashion. That's not in the best interest of the country. But I think he will get impeached in the Congress. I think that's going to happen, and I think that's fine because no president who's ever been impeached in this country has been then gone on to be convicted. Okay, didn't happen to Johnson. It didn't happen to was it Johnson? Yeah, back after Lincoln.
Andrew Jackson.
Not Andrew Jackson. Johnson.
Oh, Jackson wasn't impeached.
No, Johnson was impeached.
I know, but wasn't Jackson impeached also?
No.
Okay.
There are only two others before this situation that have been impeached, and that's been Jackson back in the 1800s, and then Clinton for getting a blowjob and then lying about it. Which I want to see that one in the history books when they explain it to students of history. Yes, kids, and now we're going into looking at the Clinton administration. You have to get your parents' permission to be in class.
It was a cigar.
It was a cigar. I mean, when you compare that to what this is all about, this is far more serious than what happened with Clinton.
Yeah.
Clinton was just painted into a corner, so he had to lie because he was blindsided by the question about Monica Lewinsky. That wasn't even the nature of the deposition that he was doing. It was in the Paula Jones case, and he thought it was going to all be about Paula Jones. All of a sudden, they bring up Monica Lewinsky, and he's thinking to himself,
"Oh snap!"
Well, he's thinking to himself, any guy. Okay, who was it? Lenny Bruce once said that if you cheat on your wife and she catches you in bed with the woman you're fucking, deny it. Just no matter what happens, deny it. Don't ever say you did
crazy.
It. Right?
You're not seeing this right.
Yeah, and that's exactly the position that Clinton was in. And he was in the position. He was in the position to deny it, and he had to deny it.
That's history.
Here comes Bree. Let me see here. Where do we put Bree? We put him in the number 7 slot.
Donald Trump was a Lenny Bruce fan then.
Huh?
Donald Trump was a Lenny Bruce fan.
I guess he was. Yes.
Because that's all he does.
There we go. There we go. There's Bree. He's out in. And Tony's calling. Ooh, look at this, folks. We're getting there.
It's Friday night on Alex Bennett.
Yeah, it is a Friday night on Alex Bennett where everybody is calling. Let's see, in the number 8 spot, we put Tony. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. He's. I have to look through all these names now and find him. Darth Pat Webhead. There he is. Okay. There we go. There's Webhead. And now we have 9. We're 1 short of a full house. Okay.
What the hell is that?
Huh?
There's a coat walking around.
What?
There's a coat walking around at Kathleen's place.
A Coke walking around?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It's my son.
What's he doing?
He's got the comforter covering himself.
He's hiding.
Because I turned the camera towards him, and so he's like, "Don't put me
Wait a
on
minute.
camera."
Let me see if we can flush him out.
Oh, we have a Scooby-Doo mystery. Oh my God!
We have I swear, you're funny. You're funny. Yeah, but and then of course we've got Tony. He's the second funniest person here. All we have to say is, "So how's your mom, Tony?" And then we're off to the races.
How was the cake?
I can't wait. I'm going to visit Checky soon, so I got to fill him in. You know what? She made me. You know what he said? Look what we got. We got N. Timmons donuts. She was driving me crazy. We wound up getting N. Timmons donuts.
Now, people who live in other places probably don't know from Entenmann's Donuts. You don't have Entenmann's out in California, do you?
No. Oh yes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I do.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yes.
She's sleeping, Alex, thank God.
What?
Tony. Tony needs to start a recipe page like Chef Tony's page.
Yeah, I've been learning how to cook. She's teaching me.
Yeah,
awesome.
your food looks good, dude.
She's liking it, so she's not complaining. But she walks me through it. Like, she'll tell me how to do things.
Yeah,
So I'm
it looks
picking
pretty
up
good. You know, some of the stuff you're putting up there looks good there.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm doing too? We like to barbecue. My brother and me bought gas. We like to barbecue.
Wait a minute. You look at his Facebook page, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
I don't blame you. No, but you know what? She's teaching me how to cook, though, really. She'll walk me through because
I'm waiting to see something he puts up there for his mom, and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's all that stuff he's cooking for her.
Meatballs.
What's your specialty, Tony?
You know, to think about that. You know what I'm thinking?
Chicken looked good the other night.
I think I mastered the meatballs. What I'm going to do is, if I make, because I know how to do it now. I know how to, because she doesn't really have, when an old person will tell you, you put a pinch of this and a pinch of that. So I kind of figured out how she did her meatballs now.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard. It's just that you got to realize you got to put the parsley. And she kind of, so I wrote, you know what I've been doing? I'm writing all the stuff down. So just in case anything happens, I don't mean it to be funny, but if you want to know, because I'll tell you the truth, Alex, I made a rum cake for my grandmother's. My mother had an old recipe for a chocolate rum cake. So me and my sister actually had to do it twice because it fell. It didn't rise the first time. And Alex, the cake was really good, but my sister had a good memory because she baked it years ago. So now what we're doing is we're trying to write certain things down so we don't forget.
Nice.
But I think the meatballs, I've mastered the meatballs.
I have a great recipe for meatballs, Tony.
Do you put raisins in it?
No, raisins and meatballs? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Put raisins in it, but I bet that is delicious.
What?
Yeah, my grandmother did that out.
Wait, Kathleen, you got to be nuts. If you ever had made me that with meatballs with raisins, I'd say, are you out of your fucking mind?
No, until you tasted it, and then you would have liked it.
No, I hate raisins in meatballs. Yourself. What?
But it's sweet. I do it the same thing, but it does add a little bit of a different taste to it.
No, but here's my recipe. You want my recipe for meatballs? You want my recipe for meatballs? I get in a cab, and I go to Costco, and I buy their meatballs, and I bring them home, and I cook them.
I did that once.
Their meatballs, the meatballs at Costco. Anybody have the meatballs from Costco?
I actually bought them. Yeah, they're good. She
Yeah.
got mad at me when I bought them.
Yeah, they're great.
Said I was wasting money.
Huh? They're great, aren't they?
She don't know the difference, but she knows the
They're
difference.
huge. They're huge.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I could go out to the kitchen now and bring them in and show them to you. In fact, I'm hungry for one of them now. But
Yeah, I'm enjoying it though.
we discovered the meatballs a couple of weeks ago, and every week I pick up the meatballs, not necessarily for a dinner one night a week, although we do that with them, but I just make them so they're always there. And for lunch, I'll have a meatball. They last for a
was gonna
week.
say that.
They're these huge meatballs,
Yeah.
and there are like about 12 of them in the tin.
I love having them.
Do you
in the
know what I'm
house. I was
talking
heating
about,
them up, and now they're
Kathleen?
my dinner.
Or are you just playing with me?
I'm playing with you.
Oh, I see.
Playing with
Okay.
your balls.
You're playing with my balls.
I love the salt one.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
sandwich out of them. Yeah, I can have that like for the next night. I know I got dinner.
Are you still there, Ray? Is Ray still there? I think we lost Ray.
Lost Ray.
Well, we'll leave his space open in case he calls back.
He fell off the bike.
He
You know what? I'll do?
Huh?
I'm gonna visit
here,
Shecky
I'm
soon.
here.
I'll bring you over meatballs. I'll have them given to you.
I don't want raisin meatballs. I don't want them
I won't
anywhere
put the
near me.
raisins in yours. I'll leave them for him.
Leave the raisins out and just.
I will.
Yeah, the meatballs will be fine.
Hard
And
ones and soft ones.
by the time I get out to see Shecky next, it'll be about 3 years, and I'll pick them up.
he'll eat them. They're good.
Yeah. Although in 3 years I'll probably be dead. So.
There's Ray.
Oh, there's Ray. Okay. Yeah, he's back.
Sorry, I got in my car and CarPlay did something. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
even hooked up.
Yeah. See, good. Well, now you're gonna drive home. You're
I'm
where?
gonna go to the liquor store and buy some non-alcoholic beer
Why non-alcoholic beer? Why would you drink?
because I can't drink.
Why can't you drink?
Because I'm getting off this freaking Klonopin.
So why? That'd be a good reason to drink.
No, it makes you. Yeah, but it makes you feel like. No way, man. The side effects are horrible.
Are they
after
weaning?
that.
Are they weaning you off the Klonopin?
Yeah, it's been a year and a half. I've been getting off of it. Yeah.
That long?
Yep.
What do? They keep taking you down and down and down?
Yeah, like 5% a month. I've had terrible withdrawals.
Yeah.
But since I stopped drinking and I've gone vegan pretty much, I feel like it's a miracle. I feel so much better.
You feel so much better now that you're vegan. You know why I wouldn't feel better if I was vegan? Because I couldn't eat fucking meat. That's why.
Yeah, well, I love meat, but I was desperate, and I don't know. I just
What do you
feel
mean?
way better
What were you?
since I stopped
What were you
drinking
desperate?
and vegan.
What were you desperate for?
Oh, look up benzodiazepine withdrawal syndrome, and then you'll know. Just look it up. Just look it up, and you'll know what I was going through.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
whatever
All
you
right.
say. Anyway, so where were we? We got a whole bunch of people here. In fact, Maurice Tunick, my old friend from Sirius XM, is watching us on the Facebook feed. You know, we're going out over YouTube tonight, and we're going out over Facebook. And Facebook has hardly anybody watching, and a lot of people are watching on YouTube tonight. Yes, Patrick has his hand up.
Meatballs and raisins and all of that.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Mute your phone, Ray, because you're.
Yeah, sorry.
It's cutting down on the feed from Tony. Yeah, go ahead, Tony. Patrick, go ahead.
So what are the odds of Hillary being in the race now?
I hope not.
I mean, she keeps yelling, she won't shut up, and Jill Stein is a fucking Russian asset, and Tulsi Gabbard, and she won't shut up about those. So, I mean, is she going to come in there and basically put a wrench in what the Democrats might
What? Wait a minute.
You know, she can really fuck things up doing that, you know.
She's serious about running?
Well, I don't know if anybody anybody would be in her corner at this point. I don't think that anybody can think she can win because she lost. They ran a fucked up campaign. They didn't run a good ground game. And that's how they won, how the Electoral College went Trump's way. I mean, Trump lost by 3 million votes. But still, if you can get 3 million more votes than the guy who won and still lose, then you're a real loser. Kathleen, mute your phone if you're not going to be there. Because, can you hear us?
Yes, hold on.
Okay, because we can hear you yelling at your son and everything. Yeah. Oh, no, don't. Now she turned herself off.
Well, she'll turn herself on soon. So.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So.
But, I mean, the way that I'm looking at her, at Hillary, the same way as what's its face fucked it up for H.W. Bush, Ross Perot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Hillary could come in there, and I'm sure there's still Hillary diehard. Are just the same as the Bernie diehard that won't give it up. And I mean, I think it's an interesting prospect.
It's been talked about. I mean, they talked about it last week on a couple of shows. There was a pretty long article in the Washington Post about it maybe 5 or 6 days ago because she's been asked a little bit about it, and she won't say, no. I mean, she's not saying yes, but she's not saying no. But the article in the Washington Post basically indicated that, 4 or 5 or 6 days ago, very quietly, no one really paid any attention to it. The second investigation that was opened up into her email things, the one that James Comey famously, blabbed about, that investigation is over. And, Trump's own Department of Justice and State Department now say, okay, we're done. Yeah, there was nothing there. There was no wrongdoing and no intentional wrongdoing that we see. Nothing basically happened. It's over. They've closed it. I mean, no one is looking into that anymore that I'm aware of. That issue is over. And, the article basically that I read in the Washington Post said, she feels two things. She feels vindicated now in that respect. And she feels like, she's ready for an I told you so moment. Where, she did. She did tell us that, Trump was fucking crazy. I mean, so it just said, with all that, she hasn't been able to close her mind to not running again. I mean, there was a lot of obstacles there, don't get me wrong. Yes. But
she's coming back in.
Yeah. Yes. Kevin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You were kind of like very still, so I was afraid we maybe lost you. Kathleen, are you back again? No, she's not back again. So why'd you feel she was back? Here, I'll call her again, see if we can get her back online here. She actually, instead of muting, she hung up. Is what happened. So let's see if she gets that. Where are you? Where are you now? You're in a liquor store, right, Ray?
Yeah, I'm in the liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the non-alcoholic beer section.
Yeah.
They're probably looking at him like it's crazy. Can I have a non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic. Yeah. Wow.
Some of it's horrible. The one I like is not here.
Oh, well. Okay. So he's
not exciting.
Yeah. Anyway. This is exciting, isn't it, folks? Look at that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you got some Heineken.
Heineken Zero.
But what? It has no alcohol in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
0%.
So they could sell that. They could sell that anywhere, right? Yeah, I guess they could. Mute yourself there. Mute yourself, Ray. Okay. Because we're getting a lot of, pickup on aisle 9 going on there. Let me see here. Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
Yeah. So we were talking about who might be the Democratic candidate, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I heard about again was the mayor of New York, and I don't mean I'm talking about the guy who's the active mayor.
You're talking about Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Well, I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think about Bloomberg?
Well, I haven't really heard from
Fairy,
him.
that's what I.
What? What do you?
Well, I think he's a fucking fairy. That's what I fucking think about it.
Wait a minute. Hold
fucking
on.
sissy pants motherfucker. There's no way I'd vote for that fucking guy.
Why? Well, he's a Jew, for crying out loud. What are you, anti-Semitic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, I don't. There's another fucking rich guy that ran can we just stay away? I mean, just get a fucking professional politician.
Well, I mean, Bloomberg was
someone who can get fucking things done.
Yeah, but Bloomberg was
operate in Washington.
Yeah, but Bloomberg is a professional politician.
He's a professional wine ass, is what Bloomberg is. You know?
Are you sure you don't like him?
I'm positive.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make it any better is if Chuck Schumer was his fucking running mate. You know, that was the only thing I can think of that would make that ticket any more attractive.
Well, I don't have any great love for Chuck Schumer myself,
There you
personally. You know, he's kind of like a pain in the ass. Yeah. Right. But
I mean, I don't think Hillary's going to actually try to enter the race, but I don't know. You never know.
Let's ask Kevin. Let's ask Kevin out in California. Would you vote for Bloomberg?
No, nor Chuck Schumer.
Okay, but suppose it were between Bloomberg and Trump.
I like Bloomberg.
No,
you like Bloomberg? We can't even see him actually. But
No.
huh? You like Bloomberg? Okay, we see the top of your head is what we're seeing there out of three. You like? Why do you like Bloomberg?
He is a pragmatist, centrist, moderate pragmatist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. By that you mean what?
That he.
Show us
responses to things. He won't do things simply based on party lines.
Can you show us more of your face? It's kind of weird just seeing you. It's like, there we go.
It's just
there we
go. So boring.
It's Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Bloomberg. I don't know if he could win. That's the problem. That's, again...
Imagine that debate with Trump and him. I mean, what can Trump really knock him on? He did a good job in New York.
Yeah.
He's got more money than him.
Yeah.
He could just end the debate and say, you know what, Donald, you're worth $1 billion, and I'm worth a lot more than that.
Yeah, here comes Kathleen.
All joking aside,
she's back.
I know, like, some guys, you may not like him, but if it's Trump versus Bloom, how can you really vote for Trump?
Yeah. Kathleen, what you did was you didn't mute yourself. You hung up on us.
I reckon I did.
Yeah, you reckon you did.
I reckon.
Yeah. When did you become Texan or whatever with your reckon?
Well, Tracy, we're in the Hicks.
Yeah, right. Well, we got somebody from Tracy. We got somebody from where are you located, Kevin? You're down in the South Bay, right?
Down in Hollister.
Hollister. And Phil, if he were here, is out in Contra Costa. I guess everybody else is not out in California.
I'm in Palo Alto.
Oh yeah, who's in? Oh yeah, you're in Palo Alto, right, Ray? So
Palo Alto.
Yeah, Palo Alto. Anyway,
that's what that's what Google Maps says. Palo Alto. No way, it said Palo Alto.
Palo Alto. Really?
They used to call it
East
Palo Alto.
Yeah. Now let me ask Kathleen, because she's the woman in the crowd here, and who are there any of these Democrats that appeal to you, Kathleen? None.
No, what's that one dude?
Buttigieg.
What's his name?
Buttigieg.
He looks like Elf on the Shelf. He does. Every time I see him, I want to take him and put him somewhere else and tell my son, "Hey, look, he moved."
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Put some little green boots on him.
Totally. Shrink him down. Isn't he cute?
he is a little toy. You can think about it.
Well, he is. I think he is short, and he is gay. But he also, he's kind of the candidate that it would be very interesting to see what Trump could say about him, because he couldn't make fun of the fact he's gay.
Alfred E. Newman.
Because that would be just too much. Okay, he can't give him a bad time for his military record. He did 3 tours of duty in Afghanistan, I think, and Iraq.
He's got more courage than me.
How about
he went to Harvard.
Yang ticket.
What? What'd you say? What'd you say, Kevin?
How about a Buttigieg Yang ticket?
Yeah.
Take a look at this.
That'd be something for him to work with.
Yeah. Well, I think Buttigieg would be a good vice presidential candidate.
Yeah, probably.
He'd be happy.
I thought we all decided Tulsi Gabbard. What happened?
Tulsi Gabbard? Oh, well, no, she's a communist. Don't you know
She's
that?
a Russian, yeah.
Yeah, she's a Russian asset, according to.
Only because Hillary said that.
Yeah.
He did.
Why Hillary said that? We
Hillary
have
needs her?
no idea why Hillary said that. She's just.
Because she hates her.
Well,
She was high that day.
What was she? I know why she was against Jill Stein, because she blames Jill Stein for losing the election.
Never.
When is Hillary going to blame herself for losing the election? Okay.
Can you imagine those?
But what she has against Tulsi Gabbard, I have no idea.
Hey, pretty.
Huh? Yeah. Well, I mean, Tulsi Gabbard gives me a boner. I can't say that about any of the other candidates.
Well, and Hillary is so far away from that just old crotchety Hillary being jealous of a young, good-looking woman. So that's all that is.
Well, she then why isn't she going after what's her name?
Warren?
Elizabeth Warren, because she's sexier than Hillary.
Well,
Hair there, brother.
Imagine if she walked to the drugstore, he'd go crazy.
In fact, now that I think about it, Rudy Giuliani is sexier than Hillary Clinton.
He looks terrible.
What? Wait a minute. What, Patrick?
I could get hard looking at Biden before Hillary. So, I mean,
but then Sanders so reminds me, every time I see Sanders, I just think of Larry David clowning him.
I know.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I think would you all agree with me that Biden is pretty well out of the game now? That he's kind of. You don't think so, Ray?
He's still tied for the leads or second in almost every single poll. I mean.
Yeah, but who are they polling?
I don't see how that puts him out.
Where are they polling this? Is the Russians? I mean, I don't know that if they came to me and asked me who I was for, I don't think, Elizabeth Warren would be the closest one of the 3 that I would suggest even had a shot. But somewhere there's got to be another person. There's got to be that stealth candidate that we haven't even thought about. They were talking about Hillary. That's ridiculous. They were talking about Michelle Obama. That's ridiculous because she doesn't want it.
Nope.
She had her time in the White House. Al Gore? Yeah, no. Who said Al Gore? Oh, Bree said Al Gore. I don't know. Al Gore, I think, has too much baggage. What we're looking for is a candidate that Trump can't really go after and call names of, and he's already got one.
Even if he can't call names, he's going to call names.
Well, but I'm saying with Buttigieg, what does he do? He can't. What's he going to call him? That little fairy or something? I mean, come on.
I could see Trump turning to him on the debate saying, "Do you think I'm attractive? Would you date me?" Imagine the guy says, "No, I don't find you attractive. You're repulsive."
You like a man with little hands?
Little chimp hands. Little chimp
You're right.
hands.
What can he say to him? Really, that would be interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, how would he go after Buttigieg? Because Buttigieg just has too much stuff going for him. The only thing he'd go after would be things that would be so in bad taste, like the fact that the guy's gay.
No, he's a nerd.
A nerd? Maybe he could go after that.
Well, he did, sir.
But yes,
he's
Patrick.
Square. He's young. He's inexperienced. He thinks too highly of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He knows everything. Everybody else knows nothing. And there's a large swath of the American people who don't like that.
Because you got to realize,
smarter than you.
You got to realize that Trump is in the business of
have more than you.
That's Trump.
Trump is in the business of campaigning by insults. You know, he doesn't campaign on issues, but just on insults. So, you know, what have you. But I can't think of anybody else, you know. Judge Judy has come out for, what's his name? For
Andrew Yang.
No, for Bloomberg.
Oh.
Yeah, she says, I've never endorsed anybody, but I feel that the time is needed that I endorse somebody. And so she's trying to, you know, she decided to endorse Bloomberg. Yes, Patrick.
Well, who the fuck is she that anybody gives a shit what her opinion?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
That's a very good point.
I mean, if I came out and endorsed somebody, who would fucking care? Judge Judy, I mean, yeah, she got I watch the show on occasion.
Okay.
It's interesting, but
all right, you can say that about her, but you know the person who got Barack Obama elected,
right,
was Oprah.
Right, but Oprah was, and probably still could, have that gravitas across all gender, all race. I mean, Oprah was, she's an entity unto herself that nobody else can touch. And, I mean, that's like bringing Elvis back. And,
Does she still have a show?
Who? Oprah?
Oprah.
No, she doesn't.
Oprah.
She doesn't, but she has her own channel.
Yeah.
You know, she took her show off. She decided to stop her show.
But there's no one like her now that would make that, you know, I mean, that's why I said with Judge Judy, yeah, her shows are right, but who the hell is she that would influence somebody to vote for?
Hey, Patrick, she's fucking Judge Judy, for crying out loud. I think they should give her a job on the Supreme Court.
But we watch it every day. I see her yelling at the set.
What? Your mother watches it every day?
My mother's got to have that shit.
Well, I can't wait for the hot benches endorsement too next.
The hot bench endorsement.
I love that show.
Those three ought to really knock it out of the
How
park.
many judge shows are there on the air now?
I don't know, about 30.
Yeah, I mean, they must be. I think what the thing is, they're the cheapest shows in the world to produce. They
mean nothing.
One set, no budget. You know? And you just get people who come by and say, I want to sue my friend on television.
Yeah, I want to sue my sister, yeah.
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 Wow.
She took a shit on my lawn.
But that wouldn't be on Judge Judy. That's hot bench material. What?
I didn't give her permission. I put up a fence so she couldn't do that, and she still did it.
The fact that you know what goes on these shows means you watch them, Kevin.
Oh, every day.
You know, my life is as undramatic as yours is, okay, on a daily basis. I do not watch those shows, okay? I will admit to watching TMZ. But that's only because I want to know how every second-rate rapper in America is doing, you know. So, for some reason, I like TMZ. It's just great chewing gum. on television.
Sometimes I watch 90 Day Fiancé the other way, and my son laughs at me because he can hear me upstairs yelling at the TV, you dumb bleeping broad. What the fuck? You're so stupid.
No,
Are you that desperate?
Oh, wait a minute. I just noticed you have another tattoo on your wrist.
Yes.
You didn't have a single tattoo on your body when I knew you.
I've been bad.
You've been bad. Any other tattoos besides the rose that looks like a blemish?
Nope.
Or that one? Why'd you get that one on your wrist? What is that for?
Actually, you know what? It was for Simone's mom. I really liked her.
No.
When she
I'm not
passed
up here.
away,
I'm
it
talking
was
about
very
I'm talking about the one on your wrist.
That's got Sean's name.
Oh, I see.
We
Okay.
talked about this.
All right. So it has meaning. Just like my wife has one on her ankle.
That's funny.
It says I'm trying to remember the name it has on there.
Buddy, you said, remember?
Buddy.
It says
Buddy.
Cankle.
No, it says Buddy.
I thought Chucky they was laughing.
You know, and I wonder what the fucking buddy is on his ankle, on her ankle. She won't. Don't think she told me what husband that was or what boyfriend.
Maybe it was a dog.
No, it was a boyfriend. It was a boyfriend, or it was a husband. I think it was a husband. I don't know, but she didn't go out and get a tattoo with my name on it.
You're the keeper, Alex. That's why.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're the keeper.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Let me get a tattoo with meatballs with raisins in them.
Oh yeah,
meatballs with raisins in them.
I'm sorry.
That's good. I
Next
like
to
that
my
one.
Batman tattoo.
You don't have a Batman tattoo.
Not yet.
No. You're through with the tattoos, are you?
I mean, I haven't gotten any more, so.
Because I never got a tattoo because I didn't want anything on my body that
scared.
I couldn't change. You know, and it's very hard to get rid of tattoos. You know. Well, I think you can laser them off if they're black. But if they're any of the colors like red or blue, they're very hard to get off. They actually have to be cut out. So, you know, if I were to get a tattoo, it would have to be something very meaningful. And I've never been able to think of anything meaningful enough that I would get a tattoo for it. You know.
Not even girlfriend?
You know, probably now I could go get it, and I probably wouldn't have to take it off. Okay? Because I'm at that point in my life where we look at each other and go, even if we hated each other, this is where it's going to wind up anyway. So you know,
We're stuck.
You know, yeah, we're not. Divorce has never come into the conversation. Okay, where when you're younger, divorce does. You know, because you can still go out and find several other mates. All right. At our age, hell, where are we going? Nowhere. So we have to learn how to put up with each other, and we're doing a pretty good job of it. But you know, so I could get a tattoo that says, you know, a girlfriend on it or whatever, and I could tell the next girlfriend if that's their name too. You know? Like for instance, how long have I been signing off with "If you see her, tell her I love her"? I was doing it when you knew me,
Forever.
right? When
Yeah.
you knew me.
Yeah.
And that has always been my sign off. And she went to me one day. I was using it, and I stopped using it for a while, and then I went back and started using it. And she said, "Oh, that was so nice. You did that for me." I said, "It wasn't done for you. In fact, it was done for this girlfriend that kept breaking up with me. Who knows how many times."
Yeah.
And then I said, "If you see her, tell her I love her." And I like that. That was a good closing. You know, that was something totally original. So that whatever girlfriend I had, oh, yeah, sure, Kathleen, I'm saying it for you.
Oh, I knew you weren't saying that for me.
You know, but you know, when I say it now, my mind, I'm thinking of Marjorie. It's strange. It has a meaning to me that way.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good thing, I guess. You know.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know, I went years being a bachelor, You know, you knew me when I started. I had been a bachelor. Wow, I had started being a bachelor when long before I first met you. You know, my ex-wife and I had finally broken up, and I didn't get married for another 15, 20 years, something like that. So I went for a long time being a very selfish bachelor, which is just fine with me because the conversation was always about me. So anyway, but if she's out there listening, if you see her, tell her I love her. And her name is...
he hates you.
Huh?
I'm kidding.
I hate what?
Nothing.
What do you mean I hate you?
Hate you.
I hate you. No.
I was kidding.
Oh, you hate me? Did you say you hated me? Who are you saying you hate?
You were saying, you know, if you see her, tell her I love her. And I said, he hates you.
No.
I was kidding.
Hardly. But, you know.
No, but you know what? That whole thing with you-know-who out in New York, I was ready to fly out there and one-punch Patty her.
Oh, you mean the one that dumped me?
Yeah, because I remember talking to you, and I was not happy about that.
Yeah. Well,
that just was not nice.
That was the one that, we broke up something like 12 times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then but that was before I met Kathleen. We broke up 12 times in like I don't know, about 7 years, something like that. I don't know. I can't remember.
I mean, I had nothing against her when I met you because I didn't know her. It was after you moved to New York and that whole debacle.
Well, then I met up with her again, and I said it can't fuck up again this time. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a very romantic notion that after, like, I think it was something like 10 years that we hadn't seen each other, that we started talking to each other and fell in love with each other again. And that was a very romantic notion. But she just did it so I could get thumped again, so.
When you break up with someone, very rarely does it ever work out the second time.
Well, it's because you broke up for a reason, and the reason was you didn't get along. But
exactly.
When it comes to affairs of the heart, I think I'm somewhat stupid. I mean, I still have within me a very romantic notion about things, and so that was a very romantic notion to me that, after 10 years, we finally got back together again. Isn't that wonderful? Look how it was like a movie that had played it. And I was so wrong. I
was probably like this. Something like that.
Yeah. You've always been kind of protective of me.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but, I then shortly after that, met up with Marjorie, and she wasn't a rebound, In fact, when I first went out with her, I figured, this is just one of those. I think I did it online or something. We met, and I didn't think it was going to turn into anything, even after the first date. And then all of a sudden, we got to kind of really like each other and hang out with each other. And finally, when you find out that you've been spending more time with a person than you haven't been spending with that person,
right?
All of a sudden, you become romantic about the situation.
Yep.
Jeff's been sitting there kind of quietly tonight. How you doing, Jeff? Yeah, he's a mime now. You got to turn on your mic when you talk to us. He always forgets to turn on his mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's otherwise we get other information.
How about Bloomberg? Because you're, one Jew to another. Would America vote for a Jew?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Well, I think Pete, the fact that he's gay, and he's young and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have that kind of experience. He's a very interesting guy, but I don't think he would ever win.
Yeah, and Josh, who recently, I think when we mentioned Bloomberg, you called him what, a pussy or something like that?
He's that too. Yeah, sure, we'll go with pussy.
Yeah, but then you got Pete Buttigieg. What do you think of Pete Buttigieg?
Fuck that guy, man. I don't like that guy either.
Why?
Elf on the shelf.
Because, I mean, my whole thing, I mean, Buttigieg is just another guy that Democrats fall in love with for 15 minutes and can't understand that when that's over, we have to get on with the business of government. And it's just, I don't see him as a leader, as a strong individual. I mean, he reminds me of the guy that runs our plant, He's 37 years old and he fucking knows everything about everything. It'll be all up in everybody's fucking business about it. I mean, he's just another, I mean...
he doesn't come across that way to me, as being a know-it-all at all.
But Josh, would you say the same thing about Obama?
Obama? No, I didn't feel like that about Obama. I mean, I wasn't, a huge supporter of Obama before. I mean, he wasn't, nearly as bad to where I said, I would never vote for him or anything. I wasn't really a huge supporter of him at times, when he was president. I mean, I think overall he did a good job and, a very professional, job and everything. But, I mean, and Buttigieg is he's not gonna receive the support, of the black community. I mean, there was an article, again, I think the same day I read the one about Hillary in the Washington Post about the fact that even as much as he's been trying these last few months, he can get, he's getting zero traction among black voters, mostly over the issue of him being gay, which I said before on this program many times. If you've ever spent enough time around, enough just, average blacks in a, production area or, I mean, in the city that I work in, they're not really big on gay people. I mean, I didn't say it was right. I just said that's what it was.
Let me bring up something to you. Am I being a little wrong when I say that I think that that there's a problem with the black communities, that we'd like to think of them, because of the intolerance that's been foisted upon them, that they're more tolerant than other people, but really they're really quite intolerant when it comes to gays, as an example. Yes, Patrick.
I brought this up years ago, and I probably brought it up on Sirius.
Yeah.
People forget is a great deal of the black community is religious, and they do adhere to conservative values when it comes to social issues like abortion, like gays, that sort of stuff. Now, when it comes to other issues like crime or who's in charge, they become a little bit more liberal, but they are a very diverse part of our society that I think the Democrats assume that just because we may agree with them politically on a number of things, that they're just going to go along on everything and not have a mind of their own. And the black friends that I have that are, two of them are ministers, and there's no way in hell that they would ever vote for anybody who is gay and somebody who supported abortion. So they have a real hard time when it comes to presidential election voting for a Democrat who supports abortion. That's where Clinton was a perfect Democrat.
Yeah.
Because he supported abortion, but only in rare cases, and he stated it that way. And he also was, don't ask, don't tell. So the friends of mine that voted for him, they were very comfortable with that idea. So, and that's just from my personal experience and what I've seen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it kind of supports what Josh was saying.
By the way, yes, I was going to say that it looked to me like Kathleen had Pete Buttigieg at her apartment now. Would you care to show him to us? Apartment. A house, excuse me. Have you paid off the mortgage on that finally?
Damn near.
Damn near. Okay, let's see the elf on the shelf there. That's Pete Buttigieg. He's running. He wants your vote, right? And he's. You like that, don't you, Bree? Yes, Jeff.
Well, my good black friends who have a gay, so and they seem to like the black kid. And they like the gay kid too.
Do they like the gay kid?
They like both kids. So,
wait a minute. Do the Democrats have? Wait a minute. They have a black woman running, but there's no black male, is there?
What about that Booker guy?
Cory Booker!
Huh?
It's Cory Booker!
Oh, I forgot Cory Booker. Excuse me. Yes, I'm sorry. He is black, isn't he?
Eyeballs popping out.
Yeah, let me see here. We have Lee Presson has joined us at this.
Hi, gang.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to find you. There we are. When I get to this many people, I have to go looking for the people there. There's Lee Presson, and look at that. Is that not mood lighting he's got there, or what?
That's it. I can turn it off if it's bugging anyone. Things are crazy here. I wanted to check in. I just stopped in.
Why did you do that, Lee? Why did you do that kind of lighting in your
like a nightclub in there.
Yeah, it looks like he's running a nightclub there.
Someone's going to come by with
Wait,
peanuts.
future.
What?
Let's go nuts. Okay, there. How's that? Is that better?
Well, that's that. We can see you now.
It's the end of the night, and I've turned the house lights on.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like Phil's going to bust in.
It's old music to go
that?
with.
Huh?
Okay, how about this? I can develop photographs.
My pool does that. It switches colors. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hi, folks. I
Yeah.
just wanted to step in and pimp my album. It came out today.
Oh yeah, there we go. There's the album, and it is called what?
It's called Last Request by my band Lee Presson and the Nails. And it's available on iTunes and Amazon.
Oh, okay.
and
It's
here it is right here.
yeah, right there, folks. See, what's it called again? You plug it.
It's called Last Request. I'll
Last
send you a free digital copy, Alex, if you give me an email address of some kind.
Yeah, it's alex@gabnet.net.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. Now everybody else can write me and pester me. Yeah, good thinking there, Alex. You know.
Yeah.
No, actually, that address is pretty well known. You know.
Okay.
I have some private addresses that I have as well. But,
Don't tell anybody.
no, I don't tell anybody my other addresses. But the one I can't get working is Alex Bennett at alexbennett.com for some reason. But I do have alexbennett.com, however. So whatever. Let me see here. We got how many minutes? Oh, we got about 10 minutes left.
10 minutes. I arrived just in time.
Arrived just in time to pimp your fucking album. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Who do you want to see be president of the United States, Lee? Or are you taking the?
Oh golly! Of course, I'm always a fan of my man Bernie Sanders. Warning, warning, everyone! Warning, we're all gonna die. Ah! No. I'll take whoever has a D after their name.
A D after their name.
Like everybody in the top 5 in the I'd happily vote for any 5 of them.
You know, I'm sorry in my lifetime that I was too adherent to voting for the D, because there are people at times that I felt that maybe they were Republicans and maybe they deserve my vote. You know, but that's in retrospect. That's in retrospect. I mean. One of the most honest politicians that ever lived, I didn't vote for, and that was, what's his name, from Arizona, Goldwater. I was very big on not voting for Goldwater because I believed he was a terrible, horrible conservative, and he was a conservative, but the kind of conservative that Goldwater was today, we'd be happy to have him as a Republican.
Yeah.
You know? Because along with that came group of core principles, which I've not seen very often in American politics. But everybody believed the story that he was going to bomb us out of existence. There was that famous advertisement that Lyndon Johnson created, that his campaign created, of the little girl playing with a flower, Daisy, and all of a sudden the explosion of an atomic bomb. This is what will happen if you don't vote for Johnson. So that killed Goldwater. So
yeah.
But I don't know. I think that we should not wed ourselves to parties, but ideals and thoughts. And I just like honest politicians. I've been warming up lately to Romney, believe it or not, only because I believe him to be an honest man. I don't know that I would want his conservative ideals in the White House, but if I want somebody who is honest, you don't get him much more honest than Mormons.
He is governed by logic.
Yeah.
You can at least say that about him.
Yeah. But, Mormons, I'm sorry, Mormons are pretty honest people all the way around. So I don't, I don't, what was I going to say? I just, I would, if he were to, let me think about this for a second. Depends on who he ran against. But I could see myself voting for Romney if it was a last-ditch effort because the Democrat was so bereft of any kind of logic or decency. How about you, Josh? Could you? I basically get the idea you're a Democrat, but have you crossed party lines?
No, I never have.
Yeah. Could you conceive of?
I mean, Romney. Well, like Romney for me. I mean, but he came around way too late for me.
I would agree with you.
As far as Trump, I mean, very early on with Trump, he was the same as the rest of them. Well, it's not really that bad. What? Now all of a sudden he's fucking found Jesus when it comes to Trump. Like 15 minutes ago, it's like so. I'm supposed to respect him now. I mean, I don't really.
How about you, Kevin? How do you feel about Romney? Kevin?
About what's that?
About Romney? Right. How do you feel about Romney?
I don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't feel that he's honest?
I won't say that. I've never had any interest in the guy at all.
Because you got to remember that the template for Obamacare was Romney Care in Massachusetts. So there is something about this guy that does think out of the box, so to speak.
But that wasn't his responsibility.
Really?
When he was in Massachusetts.
What do you mean it wasn't his responsibility? It came under his.
I know he did, but I don't know if he really forced it. It happened by accident. That's the way I look at it.
It happened by accident, yeah. But I just, I just lately have warmed up to him because I guess of his opposition to Trump. And his no-nonsense opposition to Trump. It's pretty well,
I used to be a Republican. I cast my very first vote for Reagan because I was a 19-year-old nihilist who didn't care if the world ended. But I left the party the day Boss Baby announced his candidacy. That was the day I said, I'm out.
But who?
Trump. The day he said he was running for president, that was the day I left.
That's the day you left. So are you now a registered Democrat?
I am.
Wow. So that was enough to force you out of the party.
Definitely.
I think there are a lot of people who feel forced out of the Democratic Party. Patrick?
Well, I said the other night I stopped calling myself a Republican, but I didn't change my viewpoint. I'm a conservative. I still have the same thoughts and ideals. I just don't call myself a Republican because I can't align myself with Trump. But there's no Democrat that I'd vote for that's out there. I mean, I cut my nuts off first, and I couldn't feel them anyway, so I guess it went
Okay, all right. Fairly said. Kathleen, do you have anybody in this in the
You know, for the most part, I pretty much despise politics. Once the lobbying starts, you know, it's all about big corporations, big pharma, anybody that's got the money.
Yeah. How about
you know, in this election, I don't see anybody coming up with any viable solutions to, you know, mental health, homelessness, the rehabilitation, you know, because we've got all these drugs coming over the border. I mean, we're the consumers. And, you know, and all the stuff that's happening in South America, you know, it was our prior governments that caused all that
Actually,
shit.
the drugs coming across the border aren't what's killing people. It's the drugs that are being made by big pharma that are killing people. You know.
Well, the problem is, you know, those drugs end up getting so expensive, you know, 30 to 40 bucks a pill, you can get black tar heroin for a lot less.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this whole thing about the painkillers, which have been, by the way, a boon to somebody like Kevin, who's needed them desperately, right, Kevin? I mean, yeah. And what I hate is that the fact that they've been so promiscuous about putting them out there, and now it's become a big news item, you know, that OxyContin's killing people and these drugs are killing people, that somebody like Kevin probably has to go begging his doctors, right, for the pain medicine.
Well,
I did for a while,
Yeah.
I lost my stepsister. She accidental overdose, 2 weeks out of rehab, fentanyl. And the ironic part is she was married to a pharmaceutical bigwig. But she was getting the drugs online because this was back in 2003, 4, and 5 before, I mean, you could go online and get them from anywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
She had got a back injury, and that's what started it all.
But I don't think the really dangerous drugs are coming across the border quite as much as it's big pharma. Huh?
Fentanyl, the precursors are from China, and they go into Mexico.
Yeah.
And then they come across into our country.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, if you go in Mexico, I mean, all hell broke loose in Culiacan just a week ago. They grabbed one of Chapo's sons, Ovidio, and they were in the house, and about 300 of the cartel surrounded the house. And we're basically saying, we'll start going. I mean, we'll start a war unless you let him go. I mean, the cartels rule in Mexico.
Right.
The government, they're basically fucked.
Well, this has certainly been an interesting evening tonight. We've gone all over the place. And everybody's, I think, gotten their 2 cents worth in as well, which is kind of nice. And there is the theme. Oh, just in time for me to thank Kathleen. Thank you so much. You're out of the park with the elf on the shelf bit. Josh Wheeler, thank you so much. Patrick Blazik, thank you. Lee Presson, of course, Kevin. Always nice to see you here. Jeff, great to have you around. Bree, I want to say bye-bye to you, but I used to say do-bye to you. Oh, that's Chinese yuan, isn't it?
I held up the album.
You see? And
okay.
Yes, hold up your album there, Lee. And of course,
yes,
thanks.
Yes, I'm a filthy whore.
Yes. Also, thanks to Tony for being with us, and thanks to me too. Anyway, let's all give a big wave goodbye, okay? And I'll wave back at you. There we go. There they go. There we go. I didn't have it off of dissolve. Let me see here. There we go. Anyway, that's it for our show tonight. That's it for our week. Let me just hang up on all these people abruptly. So the next program, which is, of course, the intersection with Jack Bishop. See, I can't look at you at the same time and get out of all of that. With Jack Bishop is next over most of the same Gabnet. And we'll see you again on, let's see, Tuesday at, right after. Let me try this again. right after Damian Chaplin does his program, The Exchange. We'll be here at 10 o'clock, Eastern Daylight Time. Same time, same station in life, and in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.